it's Shawnee. Welcome back. So I'm not getting ready today. I'm just gonna do the chit chat part and tell you about the cruise that I just came back from yesterday. Yes. Girl, let's get into it. Okay, so I have notes starting with day one. So backstory, my brother and I decided to go on a cruise. So he was coming from LA, I was coming from Maryland. We're gonna meet in Miami and go on this cruise, right? And he was coming with a group of people that, like, old co-workers and things like that. I was coming by myself and I was just gonna meet the group, right? And hang out with them, hang out with my brother. So overall, me and my brother had such a good time, okay? We were the life of the party, right? But let me tell you what happened, because yeah, first day, okay, so they were like, we need to check in or whatever, get onto the boat between 11:30 and 12, right? So they were, like I said, they were coming from LA, I was coming from here, Maryland. And so I'm like, I just want to make sure that I get there on time, because ain't nobody leaving the ship without me, right? And we were going on Carnival. Now, there's a lot of stereotypes about Carnival, and they lived up to all of them. Carnival is definitely the party cruise line. If you want to have a party, if you want to be shaking your tail feather from morning till dawn, then go on Carnival. If you don't want to, don't go on Carnival. Anyway, so they were supposed to get there. This might have to be a two-parter or something. They were supposed to get there and go to breakfast and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm just gonna get there and I'm gonna go straight to the ship, because the port, because I was supposed to get in at like 10:20, 9:20, I don't even remember. So I land and I'm like calling my brother, and he's like that they just got to the airport also, which was crazy because they had left like midnight or something, Cali time. So I'm like, wow, y'all must have had a really long like delay or whatever. And so he was like, we're going to get something to eat, why don't you meet us there? But I was like, I'm gonna go get my luggage, all that stuff. And by that time it was close to whatever it was. I was just like, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the port or whatever. I'll see y'all when I get there. So I take an Uber and I get there. It is hot. It's hotter than fish grease. It's just, here come Rose. It's just so hot, right? I'm in my bed. I'm in my bedroom, y'all. You see my new bed? Ow. Anyway, so I was like, you know, gonna meet you there, whatever. And when you're going on a cruise, you need to have your specific boarding pass. You need your boarding pass, you need your passport, all that jazz. But I had my brother's boarding pass stuff. I was like, it's 100 degrees out here. What time are y'all getting here? So I call him and I talked to one of the people he's with who had like organized everything, and she was like, well, we're 30 minutes away and we haven't yet finished eating. I was like, there is no way that I can stand out here in this 100-degree heat, okay, and wait for y'all. I was like, you're gonna have to figure something else out to get your, ma'am, to get your boarding pass. So you could like check your bags with the guy, and so the guy was flirting with me, and I'm like, sir, I'm hot and sweaty, and it's hot and sweaty out here, and I don't have time. But he was asking me all kinds of stuff. I don't even remember. So you have a beautiful smile, and where are you from? And I was like, oh, I'm from South Central LA. He was like, what? I like you even more. You're not even supposed to be on this bed, but okay. Anyway, so do all that. I go to like check in, blah, 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 get on the boat. I'm like, well, I'm gonna wait for y'all. So I stumble to the first bar that I see, okay? I sit down and I'm like, I'm just gonna have some drinks. So I order my first tequila sunrise, right? I'm sipping on it. I haven't had any water, so I'm drinking this like it's water, okay? So I finish it. I order another one. So I'm like, well, just gonna chill. And so I start chatting up people at the bar, and I'm like, oh yeah, me and my brother going on this cruise, blah, blah. And here comes the second tequila sunrise, and they're like, girl, what time is your brother getting here? Because I guess they thought that I was gonna be laid out somewhere. Well, they don't know me. Okay, so at that point, here come Brandy and Chris. I don't know them, we just met. We're besties now, okay? So this is Chris's first cruise. Brandy, their boyfriend, girlfriend, Brandy's son and his friend are on there. Brandy and Chris are like, we're having rum punch. It's like their signature drink. And I was like, and I would like a rum punch. So I have my rum punch, right? And they have these like sugar straws, which is so interesting. So you can use the straw to like sip up your drink, but then you can also eat the straw or whatever. So we're going back and forth as to, is the drink better with the straw or without the straw? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to have both. Brandy and Chris and I are talking, and I don't quite remember what else we were doing. I think we were just laughing, having a good old time, telling jokes, blah, blah, blah. And then the DJ, he plays an important part in this entire story. The DJ makes an announcement about make sure you go to your muster station. Now, the muster station is where you go, and they tell you if anything happens, this is how you get off the boat. So he says that, and the DJ booth is like right behind the bar. And I don't know what happened, but I said something like, oh, I haven't done that yet. Like, they didn't tell me where to go. So DJ must have heard me, right? So he comes down. He was like, I've literally made the announcement several times. I was like, well, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. It does say muster station C, I think. But I'm like, where is that? I don't know where that is. So he's like, I've made the announcement. I was like, sir, listen, I feel like I am being singled out. Because no one has told me exactly what I'm supposed to do. And like everybody else seems to know, but I don't. So it feels very personal. So he is just like laughing. He goes off to check something. I don't know. And he comes back and I'm like, so what kind of music are you going to play? Like, how long have you been a DJ? I'm just being myself, right? His name is DJ Soul, S-O-L-E. Tells me his whole life story. He's 32. I'm like, oh my God, you're such a baby. So then we're talking about, there had been all these stories about the new rules that Carnival has for their ships. A lot of it has been not received well. A lot of it has been deemed as racist and different things like that. So he's clearing up some of the information. And then we start talking about that song, Boots on the Ground. Now, it's one of those songs that has a little line dance to it. I don't know the line dance. So DJ Soul decides that he's going to teach me how to do this dance. You know, I'm 3 drinks in, hot and sweaty, haven't had no kind of food except for these sugar straws, and he teaches me the dance. Cool. Anyway, so then they were like, rooms are ready. My brother and his people are not there yet, but I'm like, I'm going on this cruise, okay? So I go to my room, and I knew my brother would not remember what room I was in. So I remember what room he was in, and I tried calling it, but nobody answered. So then I had these little post-it notes, and I went and put one on his door, and I was like, hey, it's me, I'm in room whatever, whatever. So then I call again when I get back to my room, and he answers, and I'm like, oh, thank God. And the way me and my siblings do things, sometimes when we call and the other person answers, we'll say something like, Domino's Pizza, can I take your order, or whatever, right? So he's like, I don't know what he said, Pizza Hut, can I get your order, or whatever. So then me and my brother meet up. I swear, he is aft. So that's like the back of the boat. I'm mid, so I'm in the middle of the boat, right? And to get to his room, all I have to do is walk down the hall. But it is like the length of a football field. So I get over there and I'm huffing and puffing. I'm like, good Lord Jesus, like this is so far. Anyway, so that was the first day. First day was cool. We went to, okay, so the first day, that's the first day. Now, for dinner, we were all at the early dinner time, which was 6 o'clock, right? So we were 6 o'clock in the Radiance restaurant or something, table 235. So me and my brother, we're doing everything together, right? We're like, we're not losing each other, right? And he's like, yeah, you my sister, you my top priority. I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. I'm like, girl, it's okay. I'm fine, right? So we get to the Radiance restaurant, and I think I still have not eaten. Okay, so I'm ready to eat because right now I'm just going off of alcohol and fumes, okay? And so we're at number 235, that table. So we get to that table and it's like all his people, right? And he's like, this is my sister, blah, blah. Everybody's like, hi. I'm like, hi. I'm pretty sure I looked really cute. I pretty much wore dresses the whole time. Dresses and like shorts, rompers. So Roger is our waiter. Love me some Roger, okay? Roger is just chill. Roger convinces me to get a bottle of champagne. When I tell you every night I had a bottle of champagne, okay? I did, all right? Deal with it. So we're drinking, we're having fun. There are these three ladies who call my brother uncle. So they're like, oh, now you're Thea, you're auntie. I'm like, girl, that's fine. And I'm meeting everybody else, right? So that was good. The first night, what did I have? I don't remember what food it was. The food's okay, but it's like you're at a mid-level hotel. Like, it's not something to write home about. But we had a good old time. I think after that, we went to the club. Right? So that was the first night. My brother has the drink package. And here's the thing. What they do is, if you're in a room together and one person gets a drink package, which is like $400, everybody else in the room has to get the drink package. So initially we were in the same room together. So we were going to have to spend $800 to get a drink package. They don't care if you have any religious restrictions. If you are pregnant, they don't care. You got to get the package. It don't matter. But then we had decided to be in separate rooms. But also it was like, you know, we're like splitting costs and stuff. I'm like, I'm not about to spend $400 on a drink package. We were going to try to split it, which you're not supposed to do. But basically what you have to do is you get a drink. 5 minutes later, you can get another drink. I don't know. Anyway, so we did that, okay? And for me, some of the drinks I just paid for. But it's like, in order for the drink package to be like worth it, you have to have at least 15 drinks a day. That's called alcohol poisoning. You know? So we're having a good old time. We're having drinks. What did I have? I had the bottle of champagne. And I don't even know what else, child. But I had a good old time. Went back to my hotel room and went to bed. So that was day one. I think that was it. I think that's the end of my note. Oh, we also went to the watch store. My brother is like, you know how we're into makeup. My brother is like into watches. So he goes and he gets this discount on like 4 watches, Invictus brand or something. Invicta, I don't know. But they have these like huge watch faces. So we go and we do that. And oh, I get a bottle of champagne from them. Because he got some kind of deal or whatever, and they were like, oh, and we're going to throw in this and throw in that. And my brother had some of the champagne at the table, but he wasn't a fan. Well, until they made it a mimosa, then he liked it. So that was the first day. The second day is we were at sea. Okay, so the second day we're at sea. And I don't even remember what we did. We might have, what did we do? Honestly don't remember. Oh, was that the day we had burgers? Okay, I think that was the day we had burgers. We were out on the Lido deck, having a good old time, I think. I don't even remember. I do remember we did some of the line dancing, and that's when I got to do the Boots on the Ground song. And I really don't remember what else. Like, not because I was falling out drunk or anything, but it was just a lot happening. So dinner time comes around again, 6 o'clock, and I think this time my brother and I, we're like 6:30, right? We're just fashionably late. We get to table 235, and there's no seat for us. Now, the way it's set up is you have your little card, right? And it tells you your table, and restaurant and whatever else. To tell you stuff on that. You would take this card everywhere because it gets you into things, out of things, pays for things. So we're like, why are there no tables? Now this whole time my brother has been irritated. So I'm taking on the role of like, we're gonna have so much fun, blah, blah, blah. So this second night was like elegant night at the restaurant. So I see people in like ball gowns, or well, more like they're going to prom. My brother is in some shorts. I'm in a really cute dress, okay? But I'm also not like over the top with it because first of all, it's hot still. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of walking. I'm not walking up and down these stairs and elevators and whatever in some heels. I'm just not gonna do it. So, well, I'm getting hungry now too. So we get there, 2:35 is not available. The table is other people there. And so Roger, you know, home dude Roger that was taking care of us, he was upset because he had set out my bottle of champagne, right? at the table for where me and my brother were going to sit, where we had sat the night before. So Roger was mad. And I was like, it's okay, Roger. He was like, you can go sit at 234. So I'm like, okay. We go over there, me and my brother. My brother's upset because somebody took our seats. And I'm like, yeah. So my brother goes and talks to the lady who like organized everything, right? And he's trying to find out what happened. He lets them know, everybody at that table, me and my sister are going to be at this table tomorrow. No ifs, ands, buts, maybes, wins, why, or hows. Okay? So then he comes back to 234. At this time, I'm talking to the people, right? Getting to know them, having fun. We're still like the life of the party, okay? And I think we always had to say, oh, this is my brother, this is my sister, because people are like, oh, they're all together. And we're like, no. And they're like, oh, you just don't look alike. We're like, yeah. And then people always go, oh, but you have the same nose. I'm like, okay, we just got black people noses. Anyway, because people were like, oh, you're so loving to each other. It's like, because we like each other, because we're siblings. Anyway, I was trying to be his wingman, okay? He claimed I wasn't really helping. Anyway, so we meet people. We meet Tamia and some other people, and then our nieces come to the same table. Anyway, so my brother's like, hey, let's call her Ariana. Ariana wants some of the champagne. Champagne that I had bought, right? Because Roger had put it at my table for me. And did I have one or two bottles? I don't even know. So I was like, okay, I'll give her some. Roger, can I have another glass? I'll give her some, even though she didn't save our seats. So I go over there and I'm like, here, Ariana, Amelia, whatever I'm calling her. I'm like, I'm giving you this even though you didn't save our seats. And she was like, well, some people were already sitting there when we got there. And I was like, okay, but we're supposed to be at this table. I was like, who's not supposed to be here? So there were people that we recognized that were there the night before. There was Amelia, there was Sharon, Patricia, all these other people, Contrail. This black dude, he was an older black guy that had the most beautiful, like, long gray braids, just stunting on all of us. So those were the people we knew. There were like 4 people that we didn't know. All right. So then Amelia was like, that's the pastor. So there is like a church group part that's in there, right? And she was like, that's the pastor in his pastel blue suit. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go over there and introduce myself to him and ask him if he's supposed to be at this table. So I go over and listen, I am well versed in the black church. Okay. So yeah, I'm not afraid. So I go and I'm like, hi, I heard that you're the pastor. And he's like, oh yeah, hi. And I was like, you know, I'm also just wondering, my brother and I were supposed to be at this table, but it seems like you guys might have taken our seats. And he's like, oh, I just go where my wife tells me. Now in the black church, the wife of the pastor is called the first lady. So I turn to first lady and I'm like, oh, hi, first lady. I introduce myself. It's like, it seems like y'all took our seats. And so they're like, no, it says 235 on here. And I was like, oh, so some other people must be in our seats. I was like, so you let other people take our seats. And first lady is laughing. She's like, oh, I like you. She was like, you just ask for what you want, huh? And I was like, yeah, and what I want is my seats. Me and my brother were going to sit here together. And so I told the pastor, I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to see you tomorrow at my table. And I was like, you know, I expect you to save our seats for us. And he was like, yeah, as long as you get here on time. And I was like, pastor. I was like, you're a man of God. And so I expect that you're going to, you know, follow the rules. I'll see you tomorrow in my seat at this table. So I go back and tell my brother, and he's like, you said that to him? I'm like, yeah, he's a man of God. He shouldn't be doing foolishness like this. This was where we were supposed to be sitting at, and I followed the rules. I'm supposed to be at 235. I'm not supposed to be at 234. Right? So then we also had a good time. We went to the bar again. It was sweaty and packed, and I had my fan. Where's my fan at? I don't even know where it's at, but it's an amazing fan. I think I'll go over what I took and used versus what I didn't. But I was fanning everybody. I was just having a good old time. But when I tell you, there was all manner of dress and undress on this boat. Like, the amount of ass that I saw, just cheeks everywhere, okay? Boobs everywhere. Everybody had the lashes, a snuffle up against lashes and weaves and full beat like if they work at the Mac counter. And I'm like, y'all, it is hotter than Hades. You won't melt up in here, right? But I become like a favorite because I'm just like with the fan, right? People are close. We are like packed in there. And this little group was so close that homegirl's hair got caught in my fan. I didn't apologize because I didn't tell her to be that close to me. But also her little group, they were just, they would take their beer cans and just throw them like in the corner and all this stuff. And it was just hot. I'm sweating. I'm just like, this is too much. It's just hot and gross. People don't smell like they've washed in days. And I'm just getting tired of watching everybody bent over twerking. Like, okay, we get it. You have an ass and you know how to shake it. Big deal. But after that, I went ahead and went back to my room. Like I'd had the champagne, right? And then I think I had 2 Long Island iced teas. So I was done. I was done for the day. That was day 2. Here comes day 3. Day 3, we go to Grand Turk, which is a place that everybody, okay, including Jan, everybody's like, that is the best. You have to go to Margaritaville, blah, blah, blah. So this is our first day actually getting off the ship, right? So, yeah, you just walk the plank and get off. So, again, we're all together. I think they had a good, like, 80 people or something, but we're part of this, like, core group, okay? So we get off, we find our seats. We wanted to sit we went to Margaritaville. We wanted to sit in like a certain area, but you had to pay like $45 for a chair. And we're like, no thanks. And then there was like cabanas that were like $200, $300, $400. We're like, we're not doing that. We just need a chair to sit by some sun or whatever. So I'm arguing with my brother about sunscreen. I'm like, black people need sunscreen. My brother's like, I have natural melanin. My brother's several shades darker than me. I was like, you can still burn. It might take you a while to get there, but you still need sun protection. Anyway, so this is the day we know we about to get in the water. So, there's a swim up bar, which was basically the reason that everybody wanted to go. So my brother goes in the water. He like is swimming like a fish, and I'm laid out. I'm just trying to get some sun. I'm trying to tan. I think I did tan a little bit. You see that? Yeah. But then I was like, okay, let's get in the pool, right? It's 3 feet so I can walk in it. Go over to the bar. I don't have my card. So one of the ladies bought me 2 drinks. I think I had 2 Bahama Mamas. I don't know. Anyway, everybody again is in little itty bitty polka dot bikinis, right? Shaking everything that they can in any way that they can. And there's a game that the DJ is playing, and it's called Get Your Mind Out of the Gutter or something. And she would say, like, name something that we use every day that starts with a P and ends with an S or something. I don't know, something like that, right? So if you get the answer right, then you get a shot. And we're so far away though that it's hard to like get to the answers, whatever. So then Tamia and some of the other younger folk, younger being like in their 20s, come around and we're all chatting and talking. I'm seeing her eyeing my brother. I can't tell if she's eyeing him or eyeing me or eyeing both of us. And all that jazz. And so, you know, I'm still trying to be a wingman because I'm not on here to find nobody. I have somebody, you know, and it's not that you can't go and have fun and have a good old time. I was having a good old time. But, child, one of these folks said that they were in a relationship and I could have sworn that they wasn't because they was all up on everybody. And I'm not talking about my brother, okay? I'm talking about other people that was up on him. Anyway, so we have a good time. Did I eat? Yeah, they ordered like some munchies, like appetizers and stuff, but it was so much fun, okay? That was also the day that we were able to call my mom and talk to my mom. I think the day before, I texted Jan and Erica and I was like, hey, can one of y'all let my mom know that we're okay? So my mom knew that we were fine. We had a good time at the swim up bar, laying out. I was just like, I want to get bronzed. And then at some point, they're like, head your behinds back to the ship. This was an amazing day. We went to dinner. We were at 235. at the table we were supposed to be at with the pastor and the first lady and everybody else who was supposed to be there, right? The dinner, I wasn't enjoying the dinner. It wasn't good that night for some reason. Like, I initially got the Southern fried chicken, and it may have been chicken, but it was not Southern, nor was it fried. And Roger was like, oh, do you want these other things? And I was like, no, I'm good. Just, can I have my chocolate cake? So in the midst of that, our side of the table is just like hamming it up, chopping it up, because we're talking about old TV shows that we used to watch, or like Alf, like Knight Rider, Small Wonder, like all these things, and we're singing the theme songs or whatever. And when I tell you, I was cackling, like head thrown back laughing, and I mean tears streaming down my face. Like, the person who was obnoxiously laughing, that was I, okay? Now I'm starting to feel like, I'm feeling like, oh man, I'm getting kind of tired. But I'm like, also, I had another bottle of champagne. And you know, did I have a shot? I don't know. I was just having a good old time. But that night was 80s night. And I was like, listen, I have an entire outfit, so I need to go to the club for 80s night. So 80s night was on the Lido deck, okay? All the fun stuff happens on the Lido deck. So I had my little outfit. I'll insert a picture if I remember. And I was looking cute. I had a good old time. Did I have any drinks? I don't even know. Just consider that every night I had minimum of 1. Minimum of 2, probably. So, have a good old time dancing. We have Dion, the cruise director, like, leading stuff, being crazy. We have DJ Soul on the 1-2s or whatever. Now, earlier in the day, after I think we came back from Grand Turk, but was it before we had dinner? I think it was before we had dinner. I was like, I need some kind of like snack or something. So I went to the Lido deck to get like a slice of pizza or whatever. And I took my Kindle and I was like, I'm just going to sit here and read and be an old lady. First line I'm reading, here come DJ Soul. He's like, hey. I'm like, hi. He sits down at the table and engages me in conversation. I was just like, I just really wanted to read my book, but he looks like he needs a friend, okay? So we're talking. I'm asking, you know, how are you doing? And I don't know what we were getting in, what we were talking about. We're talking about nerds versus geeks or something, and how neither one of us is really like a club person. You know when people are saying the thing they think you want them to say? So I was like, oh, really? You're a DJ? Like, why? And he was like, well, when I go to the club, I feel the pressure to, like, talk to women and stuff. And I'm like, well, you had a whole bunch of women coming up to you last night. Anyway, so we're talking, and I'm like, what does this man want? And then at some point, I'm just like, well, I'm going to go back to my room, you know, because I want to be alone. So it was like, I had asked, like, well, where are you on the boat, on the ship? Because a lot of times the staff is like all the way at the bottom in these janky ass rooms, right? He was saying he was on the 3rd floor, and I was like, oh, so you special. I'm honestly just being me. I'm being myself, okay? Then he was like, yeah, well, what room are you in? Blah, blah, blah. It was like, oh, that might be weird, like, the DJ asking you. I was like, I know how to fight. So, anyway, so we have the 80s party, blah, blah, blah. I get back to my room. I am, like, exhausted. So, I'm just taking everything off so I can get in that tiny-ass shower. And I look over to the whatever, and there's, like, a covered dish. I'm like, what is that? I don't remember ordering that. So I open it. There's a note from DJ Soul that's like, you've been so supportive of me on this ship. I hope you have a wonderful time, blah, blah. And it's 2 cookies. I eat the cookies and I go to bed. That was day 3, right? In Grand Turk. Day 4, Princess K's. This is where it all went to hell. Okay, so we wake up. Princess K's is the island that Carnival rents. They don't even own it. It ain't even rent to own. It ain't even lease to own. Or maybe they lease it, whatever. Anyway, so that day, the way that we have to get off the ship is that we have to, like, get off the ship and take a water shuttle. The water shuttle will take us to the beach, right, on the little island. So what happened? At this point, me and my brother have figured out how to call each other from our rooms or whatever. And so he calls me, and I think it was like 8:30. And he was like, hey, they have our tickets to get off, because they were calling in groups. And we need to meet on deck 5, I think, at the Red Rum Frog whatever restaurant, okay? And at 11, between 11 and 11:30. So we're getting ready. Again, we're trying to find the Red Frog Rum whatever place. But the way this ship is set up, it's like you have to go up to go down, then you got to turn around, hop on one foot, do a backflip, and then you can get to the place that you got to go, right? And remember, my brother is way in the back, all right? So he's frustrated at how we have to go everywhere to get anywhere. But we find where the place is and we sit. I think it was the night before, right? Grand Turk, the night before, there was an, like a duo, like a Caribbean duo playing, and they had a steel drum, and I had wanted to go back and play the steel drums, because I was like, oh, I'll play, or whatever, right? And we had a good time. I was dancing. I'm like, where are all the Caribbean people at? Why aren't a bunch of us out here dancing? Anyway, I didn't get a chance to go back because I had had my drinks, and I wanted to go to the 80s party. But anyway, I don't remember why I said that. Oh, so we went to the same place they had been the night before to wait. And they were doing like a trivia thing. They would play like a tiny clip of a music, of a song. And you had to name the song and the artist. So as we're walking through, I'm shouting names. Backstreet Boys, I want it that way, blah, blah. And my brother's like, you're not supposed to shout it out. And I was like, oh, why? I ain't playing. Anyway, so we get there. And I'm texting the lady because I was able to use my iMessage. She's not getting back to me, and they're calling like groups 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah. And I think they told us that we were group 29 or 30. So my brother just wanted to wait. I was like, I think we should just get off the boat. Like, I know how to navigate all of this, right? So, like, several other people are coming by, and they're like, do you know how this works? And I'm like, I don't know, because there's nobody at the Red Rum Frog people place. And we wait there for about an hour. So then at that point, it was like general debarking, right? So we go. And when I tell you, there are just hundreds of people milling about in the hallways, everything, and they're like, you need to go to deck 3 or 5 and not be here because it's a fire hazard, all this stuff. And some people are like, we've been standing here for an hour and a half. This is where everything just went up in smoke. So remember I told you that I was taking on the role of like, yeah, it's gonna be cool, we're gonna have a good time. My brother was a salty one, right? So I'm still like in an okay mood. But after a while of just standing there with nobody telling us nothing, nobody talking to us, I decided that it is time to go to guest services, which is essentially customer service. When I get over there, there's another lady already there, and she is fussing guest services out, right? I'm like, well, I'm going to join her. We're going to team up. So we asked to speak to a supervisor, as every Karen and Karenisha will do. Here come Abraham, the supervisor. First of all, there's one person working guest services. Here come, well, Abraham the supervisor. He has these little earrings in his ears. They're like little crosses, and he has on these little tight pants, and he just come walking in like he don't have anything to rush about. So homegirl, the Jamaican girl, is just fussing at him, and I was like, let me try. So I explained to him, like, we've been waiting. Some people have been waiting here for like 2 hours. Even the kids are like, why are we still on this ship? And he's like, well, ma'am, like, we are going by numbers. And I was like, I understand that. And he was like, and we gave you like the rules in your information in your room. I was like, I also understand that. He was like, and we gave an approximate time. And I was like, you know, I understand that. And I was like, the way that I understand approximate times maybe it's different for Carnival. I was like, when you tell me approximately 11:30, I'm expecting 11:30 to 12, maybe even 12:30, but we're like 2 hours after that, okay? And he just keeps saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. So at this point, when I don't get super hype upset very easily. So this is the way that I speak to people when I'm even complaining about something. I was like, listen, Abraham, I completely understand what you're saying. I was like, but no one is providing us any information. No one else is providing us any direction We're being told to go to deck 3 and or 5. When we get there, we're being told to go back to deck 2, and no one's speaking to us. We're asking questions and no one is responding. You don't have enough staff out there. And he keeps just saying the same thing. Same thing. I said, and furthermore, everyone, including yourself, Abraham, has been extremely dismissive and is showing absolutely no empathy. He looked like he had a tear in his eye, but at this point, I don't care, Abes. Get me off the ship. So he's still saying the same thing, saying the same thing, saying the same thing. And so I turned to the people behind me and I'm like, am I making sense? And they're like, yes, you're saying exactly what we all think. I'm like, okay, because he's not responding. I'm looking at him, he's not responding in a way that I understand. As he keeps saying the same thing. So after that, I don't know what happened, but it seemed like we were moving to get off the boat, right? So my Jamaican friend, she sees me and my brother are like behind them, but then we're coming like, they're coming this way. We're still on the line following people. And she's like, hey, come, like, get in line with us. She was like, you're with us now. Because, you know, we had formed a bond over trying to let this man understand that he was a hot-ass mess. And he was over here just saying the same damn thing like he ain't been trained in customer service. And I was like, no one has apologized to us for anything. I'm like, we all know if you've worked in customer service, you just apologize, okay? You apologize, and you apologize, and you apologize. So, here's another guy. I'm gonna call him Juan. He's just having a good old time. Come on, guys. I was like, listen, we've been here for like a good 2 hours. And he's like, oh, we do the number system. I'm like, y'all haven't called a number in 30 minutes, but okay. Or maybe they were using letters, whatever. And he's like, well, and I was like, nobody has apologized. He goes, on behalf of Carnival, I just want to apologize. I'm like, I'm being real serious. And he's like, well, just go have fun, have some drinks. I was like, are you paying for the drinks? He said no. And I was like, okay, that's cool, Juan. Let me just get off this damn boat. So we get on the water shuttle. Child, on the water shuttle, it felt like we were just cruising down Crenshaw, like doing the gangsta lean, because we were not moving. I swear we were parked in the middle of the ocean for a little bit. We finally get to the spot. We get off the ship. When I tell you it is hotter than the surface of the sun, it is so damn hot. So we get there and we see the group of people. Me and my brother are heated. Not only are we hot physically because of the sun, but we're just like upset. So they see us and I'm like, yeah, you know, I literally do a salute. I'm about to walk right past them because I'm like, y'all didn't wait for us, okay? And my brother's like, well, let me go see what they're up to, whatever. So we go over there and they can tell that we're upset. So everybody's like, where were you guys? We were totally waiting for you. And my brother's like, you told us to be there between 11 and 11:30, blah, blah. Anyway, so after that, they're like, oh, there's some food over there. We get into the food line. It's like 1:27. And the food line is about to close at 1:30. So we're still irritated because it's like we've missed everything. And this is also when I start to feel unwell. So I thought maybe it was because I had not eaten yet and it was hot. I don't do well when I'm overheated, right? So my brother decides he's going to dip in the ocean, and I think I ate like a hamburger and that was it. And I was trying to drink water. I just was not feeling well. I had nothing alcoholic. I just was not feeling well. So we go and I sit back down at the table with the people after I dance a little bit to the Caribbean duo. And my brother goes swimming. And then I'm just starting to feel worse and worse and worse as I sit there. And I'm hot, and they were like, oh, why don't you go get some ice water? And I was like, I can't. I feel like I can't stand up in that heat right now. So one of the ladies goes and gets me some water. My brother comes back, and I'm just like, I'm just not feeling well. And at this point, it's time to get back on the ship. So there's this long line, and it is just in the sun. There's no shade or anything. And I was like, I can't sit in that line. I just can't. So I sit, and my brother and a couple of other guys go in the line. I called my mom, and I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling well. So finally, we get into the line to go onto the ship because they had, like, saved our spots. And I just feel like I'm a faint. I don't feel well at all. We get back on the ship. I go to the room, and I just essentially like passed the F. I only passed out for a little bit because I wanted to make sure that I went to the party that night because it was the white party. So I had my outfit for the 80s party and I had my outfit for the white party, right? So I'm like, I was telling people I don't feel well, I'm gonna rest a little bit, but I'll go to the white party. So I get ready, get all my cute white partiness on, go to the white party, and I'm just feeling worse and worse and worse. So I'm just sitting, my brother went to the bar, and I'm looking for the people that we're with, and finally get over to them, and, you know, I'm dancing, having a good time, and then all of a sudden, I just start, like, I'm already sweating because it's hot and people are close, and I think the night before I got to the, I went to the club 2 nights in a row, I think, or 3, I don't know. So I'm sweating, but then all of a sudden I'm like pouring sweat. I'm like, this is weird. I do not feel well. I'm like, do I have a fever? Did the fever just break or something? But I don't know where my brother was, but I was like, I told the lady, I was like, I'm gonna go to my room. And she's like, oh, you're really sweating. I love when people say the obvious. I can feel it. I can feel the sweat, right? So I get back to my room, and I had looked real cute. I took a picture. And I just strip everything off and I like lay down. And if you know me, you know that this is not a typical sort of thing. I am going to get in the shower immediately. I'm going to wash my makeup off, blah, blah, blah. Child, when I tell you I passed the F out. So I fall asleep, and then apparently my brother, I didn't find this out till the next morning. The next morning was going to be our excursion in the Bahamas. So let me show you. I have day 5, Nassau, Bahamas. And I hear this like loud banging. And the thing is, I was in the midst of a dream, and The Rock and Kevin Hart were in the dream. And so The Rock was like knocking at Kevin Hart's door, and I'm like, why he don't open the door? Why is The Rock knocking so hard? And then I realized the knocking is at my door. So I wake up, and again, I don't have anything on, and I'm like grabbing a sheet to like wrap the sheet around me, and I open the doors, and it's my brother. So he was in the midst to, like, he was about to call the people to open the door because he was like, I don't know what's going on. I've called her a billion times. The other folks have called her a billion times. She's not answering, right? And so I'm so discombobulated, and I was like, what's happening? And he's like, I've been trying to get in contact with you. I've been knocking on this door for a while now. And I was like, I thought that was The Rock. Like, I'm just so, I don't know what's happening. And I'm wrapped in a sheet, full face of makeup. I just have to say that everything lasted, okay? So I'll tell you what makeup I took. And he was like, yeah, that's not like you. I'm like, I know. So the thing was that this day, it was supposed to be when we went on our excursion that I paid $250 for. It was in the Bahamas, and it was supposed to be at Atlantis, and we were going to lay out and all kinds of stuff. And so my brother was like, well, we're getting ready to go. Why don't you just rest? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to rest for a little bit, but then I'm going to come and just relax. But I was just continuing to feel terrible. I kept like just kind of falling asleep and all this stuff. And because I listened to the rules, they said if you're not feeling well, you need to go ahead down to the medical deck. So I called medical, and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. I'm just like, I think I had a fever last night. Like, my nose is stuffy. My throat is kind of scratchy. Like, I don't know. Y'all said that if we're not feeling well, I'm just coming medical. So I go to medical, and I meet with my nurse, Anesi. Anesi assesses all my stuff, and he's like, well, it doesn't sound like it's the flu, but it might be COVID. I was like, Anesi, don't mess with me, because don't mess with me. He was like, well, let's do the test. I'm like, okay. He takes all my vitals. My vitals are fine. But the test says that I have COVID. When I tell you I almost flew out my skin because I have not had COVID the whole time in the 5 years. Haven't had it. I was like, my ego is so shot because I was like last man standing and I didn't have it. And now I get on this boat with these people for 3-4 days and all of a sudden I have COVID. And so because of that, they had to isolate me. So Anesi I was like, Anesi, you're an awesome person, but I really don't like you right now. And he was like, why? I'm like, because you just told me that I have COVID and I haven't had COVID ever, Anesi. So they're like, oh, well, are you in your room by yourself? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, so we don't have to move you. And I was like, wait a minute. If I did say that I had someone in my room, does that mean I get a better room? Because if so, then yes, there is someone in my room. Anyway, so he tells me I have to self-isolate, honey. I have to isolate. I can't get off the boat. I have to stay in my room for the next minimum of 24 hours. So, essentially, and just gave me a mask and some cough drops and sent me about my way. And they added $104 in medical fees to my little sale and save card or whatever. And I think I texted the group or whatever, and so they found out. And, you know, I was like, you know, I feel fine, but I just have to stay in the room and watch TV. And they said that they would give me free food. And I was like, oh my God, thanks, guys. I love it. Thanks for the free food. Couldn't move out the room. They were like, once we bring in your food, we'll leave it at the door. When you're finished eating, put it in this red biohazard bag and leave it outside the door and call us and blah, blah, blah. And basically all I did was sleep. I watched the Barbie movie several times. I watched Hot Pursuit several times with Sofia Vergara and Reese Witherspoon. And then I watched Wicked several times. That's how I spent my entire day while everybody else was out on the excursion that I had paid for, enjoying themselves. I was just in the room all day. All day. I missed everything. I missed everything. So I did end up calling guest services and being like, y'all tell me I couldn't get off the boat. Give me my money back for the excursion. And they did. Well, they said they did. I haven't checked. But then blah, 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 blah. And it's time. It's the last day. It's time to get off the boat. That was yesterday. Yeah. I don't even have nothing written. It's just a dot. So we're trying to figure out how to get off, and I asked them like, hey, you didn't give me any direction. Y'all just said to get off the boat. And I had to go and pick up what I had gotten for G. It's like this pure white Hennessy or something. I had to pick that up, and then I'm like, I'm ready to get off this boat. Now, it's about 10 something, I think, and you know, I'm with my brother. I have a breakdown in the buffet line. Or I wasn't even in the buffet line. I was just in the room because I was like, I don't want to. I had on my mask and everything. I'm like, I'm not going to eat. I don't want to take this mask off, whatever. But I start crying because I'm like, I'm so upset that I missed the thing, the excursion. And I was like, my ego is hurt and I feel bad and blah, blah. Because everyone was like, yeah, I was asking where my girl at. And I was like, your girl was watching Barbie movie 4 times, Wicked 2, and Hot Pursuit about 2 or 3. That's what I was doing all day. So I'm just really upset. And, what else? So we start trying to trying to debark or whatever, right? Get to the line. You have to have your card again. So homegirl scans my card. My brother's in the other line, so he gets through. And she's like, oh, wait a minute. There's a note. Ma'am, can you stop? And so I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, there's a note on your account. And I was like, well, oh, like, what's the note? And she's not telling me. And so my brother is like, ma'am, what does the note say, or who sent it? I'm asking the same thing. And she's like, can you please just hold on, ma'am? And I was like, lady, let me off this ship. Because now things have shifted. I'm the one who's in a stank mood, and my brother is the one that's being very, like, uplifting and stuff. But I'm done, okay? You've had me in this room, and I've missed my excursion, and I want to get off this ship, and I want to get out of Miami, and I want to get on this plane. I want to get off the plane. I want to go get in my car, drive home, and be in my house. So she keeps saying there's a note, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And she's like, please wait, ma'am. I understand that you're upset. And I was like, lady, who is the note from, and what does the note say? And basically she said, well, you're not cleared to go ashore. And at this point, I just lose it. And I just lose it. And I literally just go like this. Ma'am, get me off of this ship now. If I fall out once I get out there, that's my business. But you are going to get me off of this ship, I'm just gonna walk right by. I'm just gonna get off of this ship. And she's like, ma'am, I need you to hold on. And I was like, no, 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 no. Like, I'm getting louder and louder. I was like, give me a supervisor now. And she's trying to interrupt. And I'm like, now, 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 now. I think I just blacked out. So she then calls somebody or whatever. And he comes over. I was like, I need to get off of here. And she's like, can you take your mask down? I was like, yeah, you want COVID? So anyway, they finally were like, oh, it's a note from Abraham. I'm like, Abraham, the man I talked to 2 days ago at guest services, what did he say? And then they're finally like, oh, ma'am, you can go ahead and get off. And I just marched my ass through that line. And I was just... I was so pissed. And my brother's group, they were going to wait for a bus or something to take them to the airport at 1 o'clock. It's like 10 something and my flight is at 4 something. And I was like, I'm going to just go to the airport and I'm going to stay there until I can get on my flight. And I got on, went to the airport, waited for 6 hours, got on my flight and came home. And here I am now. So that is the base of the story for my trip. I've learned a couple of things. One being nothing good ever happens to me in Miami. This is based on past experience. Number 2, if I'm not that big of a partier, I should not ever go on Carnival Cruise Line. Which don't even go into, oh, that's why I don't go on Carnival. I know, okay? I already knew. I just wanted to have a good time with my brother. What was that, number 2? Number 3, I'm just never going on that cruise line. I'm never going on. I'm gonna stick with my Norwegian and Virgin and Royal Caribbean. I've enjoyed Norwegian. I'm like, I'm just beyond that age range where I'm gonna be shaking my ass in the club and I'm too old to be running up and down these hallways. And it's just too much. It's just too much. So the first half of the trip was amazing. I honestly had so much fun with my brother. The second half was just a hot ass mess. Overall, I had a really good time. It just ended in a way that I did not expect. Next few videos though, I'm going to tell you what I took, what I ended up using, what I didn't, the like little things that could be helpful. I still think cruises are lots of fun. I think this one was just not the cruise for me in terms of the partying and all that stuff. It just wasn't the one for me. And there are several people on my shit list, like Abraham. I guess he's the main one. Oh, and homegirl who was like, you're not cleared to go ashore if you don't get out my damn way, lady. I was about to fight her. Somebody's like, why? Let me off the ship. I was already days into, you know, like, I can get off the boat, okay? I can get off the boat. But also, there were some amazing people like Roger, who took care of us. Benjamin, who was one of the bartenders that took care of us. Igusti, who was another bartender that took care of us. Evendi, who was my, like, cleaning staff and everything. Nurse Inessi, he was awesome. But all the other people, they can kick rocks. Anyway, I hope that some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. This was just a chit chat because I'm not putting makeup and stuff on until I am 100% better. And my birthday's Tuesday. So, ever since 40, I feel like my birthdays have been trash. So I guess this decade is just gonna be an interesting one because now we're at 42, alright? Anyways, stay tuned for the rest of the stories. I think that was just a short review of everything that happened, and feel free to ask me any questions. I still think you should go on a cruise because I don't think this is a typical story. I do think it's typical for Carnival. Anyways, like I said, hopefully some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. I would love it if you liked the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.